Hello there, VC. How we doing? Adam here from the Freight. Great to see you all again. Welcome back if you're returning. Welcome if you're new. Give a thumbs up, like and subscribe, all of the things. Do those things. It's always nice. And I love all the new people that are on board. And yeah, I talk a lot about a lot of different kinds of records here. One, if you've watched me for a little while, you know a series that I really like is the Atlantic 75 series. I really, really dig it. Um, and, not everything's a complete home run for me, but I'm going to talk about two recent Atlantic 75 pickups by the same artist that I am really digging, and I'm digging this genre of music getting more exposure. And that is the queen herself, Miss Aretha Franklin. We have Aretha Now, and I Never Loved a Man the Way That I Love You. 1967, 1968, Atlantic Records, of course, Jerry Wexler producing. They're mastered by Kevin Gray. They sound really great. And I just want to talk a little bit about the music and a little bit about why I think these titles are great. Um, Now, not everybody's into the Atlantic 75 series, whether it might be for like the 45 RPM or whatever. They might just, want that 33, whatever. But in this case, I'm gonna make my case for the why this is super cool. The soul, the vintage sort of 60s soul, like OG soul, after the kind of rock and roll boom, is a really, really, really important timepiece in music. Artists like the Queen herself, Aretha, Otis Redding, Ray Charles, they're all getting these wonderful treatments from the Atlantic 75 series because they were all Atlantic artists. And those getting copies of records from those sort of quintessential artists, it's tough to find originals clean. And some of the modern reissues don't always sound all that great. Um, so if this genre of music, if you feel passionately about this type of music, the vintage soul, the classic soul, the original soul that kind of kicked it all off in a big way, I love that it's getting the Atlantic 75 treatment. I love that Aretha Franklin is getting her due in an audiophile, super high quality pressing type way. Um, these are great records, and I know there are actually, I believe, two more titles that I don't even have yet. So I'll definitely be getting those. These are the two that I have: Aretha Now and I Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You. Um, this is, again, like I mentioned, 1967. This was her debut on Atlantic, and this was 68. Now, before this, Aretha, I actually just recently watched, there was this Atlantic Records documentary. I think you can watch it for free on YouTube, actually. If I remember, I'll try to link it in the description. But if not, I'm pretty sure it's free on YouTube. That's where I watched it. And it talked a lot about how big it was that Aretha came on board in 1967, because previous to that, Aretha, and Aretha is the one who says this in the interview, she was with Columbia, and she had some what they call like radio hits, right? Or radio, I forget, it wasn't radio hits, radio something, I forget the term that she used. But it was like she was getting radio play, like fairly steady radio play, but nothing that was like a huge hit. And then she came over to Atlantic. This was her debut. The Atlantic, the rhythm section, Booker T and the MGs, and the cats up in New York studios for Atlantic, they were putting out the soul, and they were laying the foundation for artists like Aretha to sing on top of. And boy, does it pop on this. I mean, with I never loved a man the way I love you. You get songs like Respect, Drown in My Own Tears, Baby, 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 Soul Serenade. This is awesome. Now, these two, even though they're a year apart and they're both from Atlantic Records, there's differences, right? There's sonic differences to me, and I really enjoyed these. That's why I want to highlight these two in particular. 67, 68, like I mentioned. Aretha Now, right, compared to I Never Loved a Man, is Aretha Now had. All right, let me say it the other way. I Never Loved a Man the Way That I Love You has this super raw early 60s, mid 60s soul thing happening. That is like, it's got stripped down a little bit more in production. You can really hear the background singer stacked over here on the left channel, especially on Respect. Think, it's just like awesome. You can hear them all. You can hear them right, like standing next to each other. It's super cool. And then you get drums and everything. So it is, the mix is very 60s stereo. And when I say that, you might know what I mean. It's like you have some things that are definitely over here and some things that are definitely over here. It's not like a modern stereo mix where things are like all over the place and deep, and like, it's not that kind of record. That's not what OG soul music is. It's that 60s thing, and that's what gives it that vintage feel. So I'm glad that didn't get messed with. It's beautiful. And Aretha's voice is just floating on top of everything. This is a fantastic sounding record. I'm psyched to have a copy of it. It's that raw soul thing. Now, with the Aretha Now, you can hear an evolution here. You really can. You hear the evolution of the production. She sounds a little more comfortable. The first one, she sounds a little more raw, a little more like, all right, I'm here to make a statement, and this is what's up. And in this one, she's like, okay, I know I'm a badass. Now you sit back and you hear this. And like, this is what's up. And, this one, of course, you have Think on this one. You have Say a Little Prayer. The production is just a little bit bigger on this one, and the soundscape is a little bit bigger. The depth is a little bit more. You can hear just like, you can hear the next step, right? The next things that were happening. And in reading some of the liner notes, it says that, like, the band would finish. They'd finish a take, and they'd all run to the control booth after every take with Aretha and be like, because they needed to hear what they just played with Aretha singing on top of it. So, these are absolute home runs for me. If you're into the Atlantic 75, you know what you're getting. We're used to it at this point. They're $60 or $65 records, whatever they are now. Not a little bit of money, but they're two unbelievably high quality pressings. They both look exactly like this, so I'm not going to waste the time and show you like all four. They both have the green and blue Atlantic, both cut by Kevin Gray. Quality record pressings, the whole nine. We know what we're getting here, right? So what I can tell you is that, to me, I love that this soul music is getting represented in this way. I love it, love it, love it. I love that Aretha is getting represented in this way. I know there's two more titles that I'm looking forward to getting, and hearing that continued evolution of her music and the production and her cuts. It's just awesome. And these are two different records. Whichever one you choose, or if you choose both, I think you will be happy if you're an Aretha fan. I am so psyched she's getting this attention. It is so unbelievably deserved. She is the queen of soul, and deserves this kind of treatment. And I'm psyched about it. I think these two records complement each other really well, and you can hear the evolution, and I'm excited to continue hearing that evolution with the next ones. So, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to babble on too much. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this gave you a little something to think about. If you're on the fence about the Aretha Atlantic 75's, don't be. Go get them, turn them up, and just have a good time listening to this killer, essential vintage soul music. Like she's like no one else. She's just Aretha. So enjoy it, turn it up, and that's all I got to say about that. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. And peace.